I stand alone at the edge of the harvest party, gripping a crystal champagne flute that costs more than my monthly grocery budget. The setting sun bathes the sprawling ranch in golden light, making the autumn decorations glow with warmth that doesn't reach my heart. Around me, my relatives laugh and mingle across the expansive deck overlooking the mountains outside Denver. A band plays country classics I paid for but didn't choose. My sister Maddie glides through the crowd in her crimson dress, accepting compliments on her exquisite taste. No one would guess that the vintage wine they're drinking, the catered prime rib being served, or the professional photographer documenting it all came from my bank account, not hers. I tug self-consciously at my department store blouse. The practical beige looks dull next to Maddie's designer ensemble, but that's how it's always been. Her shine purchased with my sacrifice. Everyone. Maddie taps her glass with a silver spoon, her voice carrying across the terrace. I want to thank you all for coming to celebrate our family's annual harvest gathering. My parents beam from their seats at the head table. Dad straightens his tie while Mom adjusts her freshly colored hair, both radiating pride as their favorite daughter commands attention. This year has been incredible for Ryan and me, Maddie continues, her husband nodding appreciatively beside her. Our social media presence has really taken off, and as you can see, she gestures grandly around the decorated space. We wanted this party to reflect our success. My fingers tighten around the glass. Success? I wrote the checks for everything from the valet parking to the hand-calligraphed place cards. Maddie's gaze finds me across the crowd. Something cold flashes in her eyes before she smiles sweetly. Of course, some people just try too hard to matter, don't they? The laughter that follows feels like needles against my skin. One by one, heads turn toward me, eyes knowing, pitying, or worse, amused. Uncle Robert frowns. Grandma Dorothy looks down at her plate, but no one speaks up. I keep my face carefully composed while beneath the tablecloth. My hands tremble so hard I have to press them against my thighs. The silence stretches until my father clears his throat and raises his glass, redirecting attention to Maddie and Ryan's continued success. To success! The crowd echoes. I sip my champagne, tasting nothing. 1 week earlier, I sat at my kitchen table in my one-bedroom apartment, writing a check for $22,000. The autumn light filtering through thin curtains illuminated dust particles dancing above the faded countertops. I'd pushed aside utility bills marked final notice to make room for the checkbook. This is the last time, I whispered to myself, just as I had the previous time, and the time before that. Later that morning, my Toyota Camry groaned when I turned the key, the engine making an ominous knocking sound that would cost money I no longer had. The dashboard showed 187,425 miles, 12 years of reliable service now threatening to end when I needed it most. I was halfway through my morning commute when Mom called. Shelby, honey, Maddie needs to update some of the party decorations. The ones she ordered don't match the invitations. I pulled into a gas station, calculating whether I could afford both fuel and lunch today. Mom, I've already paid for decorations. Twice. But these are special imported flowers from Holland. Only $1,500 more. I closed my eyes, picturing my savings account balance dwindling to nearly nothing. Fine, I'll transfer it today. You're such a good sister. Maddie's so excited about this party. You know how important image is in her industry. What about my industry? CPAs weren't expected to fund family extravagances. Now, as Maddie's toast ends and conversations resume around me, I reach for my phone. With steady fingers, I open my banking app and navigate to scheduled payments. The final installment of $9,000 for the catering and venue sits there, pending for tomorrow morning. I press cancel payment without hesitation. A confirmation message appears. Are you sure you want to cancel this payment? Yes. Across the terrace, Maddie's phone buzzes. I watch her expression shift from confusion to disbelief as she reads the cancellation notice. Her eyes snap up, locking with mine. I rise from my chair, straightening to my full height. For the first time in years, I feel light, unburdened. I'm done paying for this party, I announce, my voice carrying over the sudden hush. Figure it out yourselves. I've never seen my mother's face turn that particular shade of crimson before. Her fingers clutch her pearl necklace, as if it might anchor her against the shockwave I've just unleashed across the terrace. Shelby Ann Carson. Her voice cuts through the stunned silence. How could you embarrass us like this? The band has stopped playing. Every eye at the harvest party watches the drama unfold, the invisible sister suddenly visible in the worst possible way. Dad rises from his chair, napkin still tucked into his collar. What in God's name are you thinking? Call the bank right now and fix this. Across the terrace, Maddie's face contorts from disbelief to calculated devastation. The transformation is remarkable, theatrical even. Years of watching her perfect these performances have made me immune to their effect. I've been thinking quite clearly, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. I've given you over $50,000 in the past 3 years. I'm done. The event planner, Vanessa, appears at Maddie's elbow, her professional smile strained. Mrs. Bellinger, there seems to be an issue with the final payment. The caterers are asking about— Not now, Ryan hisses, his handsome face ashen. He pulls at his collar, the crisp white shirt suddenly seeming too tight. The reality of what my canceled payment means is dawning on him with brutal clarity. Mom strides toward me, heels clicking against the wooden deck. After everything we've done for you. It's not a question but an accusation. We gave you life, supported your education. Which I paid back with interest, I interrupt. The words taste strange on my tongue, bitter but satisfying. Like strong coffee, every penny of my student loans, plus your second mortgage, and Dad's truck, and Maddie's wedding. Mom recoils as if slapped. Behind her, several family members exchange glances, connecting dots they've never bothered to consider before. Maddie pushes through the crowd, Ryan trailing behind her. Tears stream perfectly down her cheeks without smudging her mascara, a talent she's perfected over years of practice. You're ruining my special moment. She sobs, voice pitched to carry to the farthest guest. Everyone will remember my party for this spectacle. That's right, I say. Not for the food you didn't pay for or the band you didn't hire. A harsh laugh cuts through the tension. Uncle Robert, Dad's older brother, sets down his whiskey glass with enough force to make the ice cubes rattle. His weathered face tanned from years as a beat cop, before retirement creases into something between a grimace and a smile. She's been carrying this family for too damn long, he announces, moving to stand beside me. About time somebody said it out loud. Mom's eyes narrow. This isn't your business, Robert. Like hell it isn't. I've watched you drain this girl dry for years while Princess over there lives like a celebrity on her sister's dime. Ryan steps forward, desperation etched into his features. Shelby, please. He lowers his voice to a whisper only I can hear. The mortgage is due next week. We counted on your help for the catering bill so we could make the payment. His admission confirms what I've suspected for months. Their influencer lifestyle is a carefully constructed house of cards maintained by my bank account. From across the terrace, I catch Grandma Dorothy's eye. My father's mother sits straight-backed in her chair, her gaze keen despite her 82 years. She gives me a nearly imperceptible nod, and something loosens in my chest. I'm not alone. You can't just walk away from family obligations, Dad says, his voice dropping to the stern tone he used when I was 10 and questioning his authority. Family obligations? I repeat. Like the obligation to protect your children equally? To teach them self-sufficiency? To not play favorites so obviously it makes everyone uncomfortable? A murmur ripples through the assembled relatives. Aunt Elaine whispers something to her husband. Cousin Patrick studies his shoes with sudden interest. The family is dividing before my eyes, those who've always seen the truth, and those who've benefited from ignoring it. Vanessa clears her throat. I hate to interrupt, but the venue manager is asking about the remaining balance. Maddie whirls toward her. Can't you handle this later? We're having a family crisis. I'm afraid the staff needs to know if they should continue service or begin shutdown procedures. Ryan pulls out his wallet, a flicker of panic crossing his face as he rifles through credit cards. I'll take care of it, he says. Though we both know his cards are likely maxed out. I reach for my purse, feeling lighter with each passing moment. I should go. Don't you dare walk out, Mom hisses. Uncle Robert lays a hand on my shoulder. I'll drive you home, kid. You've done enough. More than enough, I agree, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. As I gather my belongings, Grandma Dorothy rises from her seat and crosses to me. Her small, veined hand reaches for mine, giving it a squeeze that contains decades of unspoken understanding. It's about time, she whispers, her eyes bright with something that might be pride. I walk away from the party with Uncle Robert beside me, hearing Maddie's wail rise behind us, followed by my mother's urgent attempts to salvage the situation. The voices fade as we reach the parking lot, replaced by the evening breeze rustling through the autumn leaves. For the first time in years, I'm not responsible for fixing someone else's problems. The realization settles over me like a warm blanket as we drive away from the ranch, leaving chaos in our wake. My phone vibrates with incoming calls and texts, but I switch it to silent without looking. Whatever storm is brewing behind us, I won't be the one to calm it. Not anymore. My phone buzzes for the 12th time today. I stare at Mom's name flashing on the screen before sending it to voicemail, where it joins the growing collection of desperate pleas and veiled threats. Shelby, please call us back. Your father can't sleep knowing what you did to your sister. How could you humiliate us like that in front of everyone? We raised you better. The message joins 37 others I've received since walking out of the harvest party 4 days ago. I've started cataloging them in a spreadsheet. Date, time, caller, and manipulation technique. The patterns emerge with mathematical precision. Mom employs guilt. Dad uses stern disappointment. And Maddie alternates between tearful victim and righteous fury. My coffee grows cold as another text arrives. Maddie this time. I had to put off paying our housekeeper because of what you did. These are real people with families, Shelby. I thought you cared about working people. I guess I was wrong about you. I screenshot it and add it to the growing folder labeled Evidence on my laptop. My finger hovers over the block button, but something stops me. The accountant in me needs a complete record. On my television, Maddie's Instagram stories play in real time. I've created a separate account to monitor her public response to our confrontation. Some family members just don't understand the pressures of maintaining a certain image, she says, dramatically wiping away a tear in her spotless kitchen. The diamond bracelet I bought her for Christmas catches the light, but I'm staying positive and focusing on gratitude. The comments flood in with supportive hearts and angry face emojis directed at the unnamed villain me. Block, I finally mutter, shutting down Instagram. The momentary silence feels like coming up for air after nearly drowning. The knock at my door 2 weeks after the party is unexpected. I peer through the peephole to find Aunt Elaine, my mother's younger sister, holding a casserole dish. I come bearing actual food, not drama, she says when I open the door. Aunt Elaine has always existed on the periphery of family gatherings, divorced, childless, and contentedly self-sufficient. Mom calls her the family disappointment. In the Carson family hierarchy, refusing to need others is apparently a cardinal sin. I figured you could use a friendly face, she says, bustling into my kitchen and setting down her dish. And someone who knows exactly what you're dealing with. I raise an eyebrow as I pull 2 mugs from the cabinet. What do you mean? Your mother pulled the same financial leech routine on me for years. Aunt Elaine accepts the coffee I offer. Until I cut them off when they tried to get me to mortgage my house for their timeshare investment. They what? Oh, honey. Her face softens with recognition. You really don't know, do you? For the next hour, Aunt Elaine unravels a financial history I never knew existed. She opens her tote bag and extracts a manila folder containing property records, bank statements, and investment reports. They sold the Adams Street duplex 5 years ago for $280,000, she says, sliding a settlement statement across my kitchen table. Thomas swore they were putting that money into conservative investments for retirement. I stare at the document, my professional training kicking in as I identify the signatures. I had no idea they sold it. They told me they were still collecting rent from it. Meanwhile, Aunt Elaine continues, they've been sinking money into Ryan's brother's restaurant venture and that ridiculous timeshare in Breckenridge. Not to mention financing Maddie's lifestyle upgrades. My hands tremble as I flip through the papers. How did you get these? Dorothy, your grandmother keeps better records than the IRS. Aunt Elaine sips her coffee. She's been worried about you for years, watching them drain you dry while hiding their assets. Something cracks open inside me, a hot, righteous anger that burns away the last vestiges of doubt. All those times they needed help with property taxes and insurance. Manufactured emergencies, Aunt Elaine confirms. Their specialty. Back at my computer that evening, I create a new spreadsheet. Column by column, I document every dollar I've given my family over the past 3 years. Mortgage assistance for my parents, $12,400. Medical insurance, gap payments, $8,900. Maddie's temporary car payments that never ended, $14,200. The special events, birthdays, and celebrations where I quietly covered the bill. $21,600. The total makes me physically ill. $57,100. Almost 2 years of my after-tax salary. I dig deeper into my credit card statements, finding recurring charges I'd forgotten authorizing. The streaming services for my parents' house. The monthly wine club delivery to Maddie and Ryan's address. The yearly vacation insurance policy that somehow became my responsibility. When I finally step away from the computer, it's past midnight. My eyes burn from staring at screens, but my mind feels strangely clear. The numbers don't lie. They never have. It's why I became an accountant in the first place. There's comfort in the absolutes of mathematics when human relationships prove so deceptive. The next morning, I call in sick for the first time in 3 years. Instead of going to work, I make 2 appointments that will change everything. The financial advisor's office smells like expensive leather and confidence. Miss Whitman listens without judgment as I outline my situation, her experienced eyes scanning the documentation I've brought. First, she says when I finish, "We need to lock down your accounts immediately. New passwords, new security questions, removal of all authorized users." She creates a strategic protection plan that feels like building a fortress around what remains of my finances. By the time we finish, I've changed banks, established new credit monitoring, and created a recovery timeline that will take 18 months of disciplined saving. Family financial entanglements are among the most difficult to resolve, Miss Whitman tells me as I gather my papers. But I've never seen someone as organized and determined as you. You'll recover from this. The therapist's office that afternoon couldn't be more different. Soft lighting, comfortable chairs, and a box of tissues within easy reach. Doctor Brennan specializes in family dynamics and boundary setting. "What brings you here today?" she asks. The words stick in my throat at first, but eventually they come pouring out the years of financial manipulation, the public humiliation, the recent discoveries. "What makes me angriest," I say, clutching a pillow to my chest, "is how stupid I feel. I'm a CPA, for God's sake. I should have seen the patterns." "Financial abuse often happens to financially savvy people," Dr. Brennan says. "Your professional skills weren't the issue. The emotional manipulation overrode your analytical abilities." "I'm done with it," I whisper, then louder. "I am not their ATM." "Say that again," Dr. Brennan encourages. I straighten my spine, feeling something shift inside me. I am not their ATM. That evening, I sit at my kitchen table with a fresh legal pad. The yellow paper glows under my reading lamp as I draft the message that will redefine my family relationships. No accusations, no emotional language, just clear, irrevocable boundaries stated with professional precision. As I type the final version into my phone, I feel neither guilt nor uncertainty. The numbers don't lie, and neither will I, not to my family, and never again to myself. My finger hovers over the send button. One press will change everything. I take a deep breath and make my choice. I stand in my apartment kitchen, phone in one hand, a steaming mug of coffee in the other. The morning sun filters through my blinds, casting golden stripes across my worn countertop. For once, I don't feel the familiar knot of anxiety in my chest when looking at my bank account. 3 days have passed since the harvest party disaster, and I've spent every waking minute planning my next move. I'm done paying for any of you. I type into the group text that includes my parents and Maddie. My thumb hovers over the send button for just a moment before pressing it firmly. The weight of those 7 words feels both terrifying and exhilarating. My phone immediately erupts with incoming calls, first Mom, then Dad, then Maddie, in rapid succession. I silence each one, setting the phone face down on the counter. They can wait. I open my laptop and navigate to my banking portal. The list of recurring payments stretches longer than it should for someone living alone. Monthly transfers to my parents for their roof fund. Automatic payments on 3 credit cards I've never used. A subscription to a meal delivery service that only delivers to Maddie's address. One by one, I click cancel. Each confirmation screen asks if I'm sure. I've never been more certain of anything. When I reach the authorized users section, I find 5 names attached to my accounts. Mom, Dad, Maddie, Ryan, and even my teenage niece. I remove them all, watching the little green check marks change to red X's. Complete. The draft email to my extended family has been sitting open on my screen for hours. I've rewritten it 12 times. The 13th version is simple, factual, and unapologetic. For years, I've provided financial support to my immediate family. This arrangement has become unsustainable and one-sided. Effective immediately, I am ending all financial assistance. Any outstanding debts remain my family's responsibility, not mine. I would appreciate your understanding and respect for my decision. I press send before I can talk myself out of it. The first wave of backlash hits faster than I anticipated. The doorbell rings just after noon. Shelby Elizabeth Carson, open this door right now. Mom's voice carries through the thin wood, followed by Dad's heavier knocking. I peer through the peephole. They look disheveled, panicked. Dad's tie hangs askew beneath his unbuttoned collar, something I've never seen in my life. We can talk when you're calmer. I call through the door. I'm not discussing this while you're shouting. The event planner is threatening to sue Maddie, Mom wails. You can't do this to your sister. I'm not doing anything to Maddie. I'm simply stopping doing things for Maddie. There's a difference. Their voices fade as I walk away from the door, hands trembling but resolve unbroken. My phone buzzes with a text from Ryan. Our mortgage is late, the bank called. Please, Shelby, just until we get back on our feet. Before I can even process this, Maddie's tearful voicemail plays. The event planner is threatening legal action. How could you humiliate me like this? After everything I've done for you. I almost laugh at that last part. Everything she's done for me? The delusion is staggering. Another call comes in, Uncle Robert. I answer immediately. Holding up okay, kiddo? His gravelly voice sounds concerned but proud. Better than expected, I admit. Though Mom and Dad just showed up unannounced. I figured they might want me to come over. I can be there in 20. For the first time in days, I feel my shoulders relax. I'd appreciate that. Later that evening, Grandma Dorothy calls to invite me for Sunday dinner. Just us, she clarifies. No Thomas and Ellen, no Madeline. The following day, Aunt Elaine drops by with a leather-bound notebook. For documenting everything, she explains, settling at my kitchen table. Dates, amounts, promises made. We'll build a complete history so no one can gaslight you about what happened. By Friday, my work colleagues comment on the change in my demeanor. You seem lighter somehow, my cubicle neighbor observes over lunch. Meanwhile, the consequences of financial reality begin rippling through my family. Facebook Marketplace listings appear under Ryan's account. The designer watch I paid for last Christmas. Maddie's barely used exercise equipment. Their second car. A neighborhood friend mentioned seeing a realtor's sign outside my parents' house. Maddie's Instagram, once filled with glamorous outfit photos and elaborately plated meals, now features recycled content and vague captions about weathering storms together. Each piece of news should make me anxious or guilty. Instead, I feel a spreading calm, like cool water flowing through my veins. In my newly quiet apartment, with bills I can manage and a future I can plan, I finally recognize the feeling, peace. The Monday morning calm of Prescott accounting shatters when the glass doors burst open. My father strides in first, his face flushed with the particular shade of red reserved for mortgage payments and football games. Mother follows, dabbing theatrical tears with a monogrammed handkerchief. Maddie trails behind, sunglasses perched on her head despite the overcast day. I spot them from my desk and my stomach drops. 8 coworkers plus our receptionist Brenda turn to stare at the commotion. My fingers freeze over my keyboard, the quarterly tax report forgotten. There she is, Dad announces, pointing at me like I'm a fugitive. Our daughter who thinks she's too good for family. I rise slowly, conscious of every eye in the office. Dad, this isn't appropriate. I'm working. Working? Mom's voice rises an octave. While your sister's life falls apart? Brenda's eyebrows shoot up. My boss, Mark, emerges from his office, confusion etched on his face. Is everything all right, Shelby? He asks. Before I can answer, Dad steps forward. His voice drops to a threatening rumble that still carries across the silent office. Either you help your sister financially or you're no longer part of this family. It's that simple. Mom's theatrical sobs punctuate his ultimatum. She clutches Maddie's arm for support, though it's unclear who's supposed to be supporting whom. I feel a strange calm settle over me, like the eye of a hurricane. Mark, I apologize for this interruption. Would you mind if I take my lunch break early today? Mark nods, eyeing my family with the wariness of someone spotting a leaking gas line. I gather my purse and cardigan, then walk toward the conference room. We can speak in here for 5 minutes. That's all I can spare. Once the door closes, I turn to face them. This is my workplace. You don't get to threaten me here. Threaten? Mom presses a hand to her chest. We're trying to save this family. By ambushing me at work? That's not saving anything. Maddie steps forward, designer sunglasses now covering puffy eyes. The event planner is suing us, Shelby. $9,000 plus penalties. Ryan's parents are furious. His dad called him worthless. And this is my problem because? I keep my voice even, professional. Because you're the one with money. Dad explodes. You've always been the responsible one. I've been the ATM. I correct him. There's a difference. I check my watch. You have 3 more minutes. Then I'm going back to work, and you're leaving. Mom's tears dry instantly. I knew you'd turn cold, just like your Aunt Elaine. I nearly smile at the unintended compliment. I've scheduled a meeting for Saturday. My financial advisor's office, 10 a.m. I'd like you both to attend. Maddie, you're welcome to come too. Financial advisor? Dad scoffs. What for? Clarity, I answer. Now your time is up. I hold the door open, and to my surprise, they file out without further argument. As they pass through the main office, every coworker suddenly becomes fascinated with their computer screens. Mark catches my eye and gives me a subtle nod of respect. Saturday morning, I arrive at Westbrook Financial, 30 minutes early. Jennifer, my advisor, reviews our presentation one last time. The leather portfolio in my hands contains 3 years of financial records, meticulously categorized and totaled. My parents arrive exactly on time, curiosity overriding their anger. Maddie hasn't come. The conference room feels too large for just the 4 of us. Thank you for coming. Jennifer begins after introductions. Shelby asked me to help present a financial overview that she believes will clarify some family misunderstandings. Dad shifts uncomfortably. We know how money works. Then this should be straightforward, Jennifer replies smoothly. She displays the first slide on the wall screen. Over the past 3 years, Shelby has provided $84,579 in financial assistance to family members. Mom's mouth opens slightly. This breaks down to $52,614 for Madeline Carson's expenses, $22,950 for Thomas and Ellen Carson's home repairs and medical costs, and $9,015 for extended family events. The room grows painfully quiet. Meanwhile, Jennifer continues, Shelby has deferred her own retirement savings, home purchase, and vehicle replacement. Another slide appears. This pattern of financial support has created what we call a parasitic dependency cycle. How dare you call us parasites? Mom straightens indignantly. It's a financial term, not a personal attack. Jennifer clarifies. It describes a relationship where one party's financial health deteriorates while supporting another's lifestyle beyond sustainable means. I open the portfolio and remove a document. I also discovered that the duplex you sold in 2021 for $280,000 wasn't used for medical expenses as you told me. I slide the bank statements across the table. The money went into speculative investments, which you lost, while I paid for Dad's knee surgery out of my savings. Mom's face pales. Dad stares at the papers, unable to meet my eyes. I'm not here to shame you. I tell them quietly. I'm here to establish reality. I can no longer financially support the family. The well is dry. Your sister needs Dad begins. What Maddie needs isn't money, I interrupt. She needs consequences. I close my portfolio with finality. Later that week, Maddie's Instagram presence takes an unexpected turn. Her followers begin commenting on the disconnect between her luxury posts and reality. Someone spots her working at Starbucks and shares it online. The carefully crafted illusion crumbles with each authentic moment captured by strangers. 3 weeks after the financial meeting, Ryan moves out. Maddie posts a cryptic quote about betrayal, but her followers flood the comments with questions about the Cartier watch she'd showcased the previous day while complaining about not making rent. The final confrontation occurs at Grandma Dorothy's home on a Sunday evening. She's invited the entire family for dinner, something she hasn't done in years. The tension around her oak dining table feels thick enough to slice. Uncle Robert carves the roast beef while Aunt Elaine distributes plates. Maddie sits opposite me, eyes downcast. My parents occupy their usual places at the ends of the table, their authority noticeably diminished. Before we eat, Grandma Dorothy announces, "I want to say something." She reaches for my hand. I've watched this family take advantage of Shelby for years. I said nothing because I thought she needed to stand up for herself. Her eyes meet mine. "I'm glad you finally did, dear." Maddie's fork clatters against her plate. "So this whole dinner is about praising St. Shelby?" "No," I answer calmly. "It's about establishing new boundaries." I address the entire table. "I love you all, but I will never again put my financial security at risk for anyone else's comfort." Mom starts to speak, but Dad touches her arm, stopping her. The realization in his eyes tells me he finally understands. Maddie's composure fractures completely. "You've ruined everything." Tears stream down her face, mascara tracking dark rivers over her cheeks. "Ryan left me. My followers think I'm a fraud. I had to sell my car." Her voice rises with each confession. "I'm working at Starbucks, Shelby. Starbucks." I pass her a napkin. "Welcome to reality, where most of us have been living all along." She dabs at her face, smearing makeup further. "I don't know how to live like this." "You'll learn," Grandma Dorothy says firmly. "We all do." The table falls silent as we contemplate the new family order. Uncle Robert raises his water glass. "To boundaries and new beginnings." We all drink to that, even Maddie, her hand trembling slightly as she lifts her glass. I stand at my apartment window, watching spring sunlight filter through curtains I chose because I loved them, not because they were the cheapest option. 6 months since the harvest party confrontation, and my world has realigned into something I barely recognize. My studio isn't large, just a living space with a small kitchen alcove and separate bedroom, but it's mine, free from the weight of others' expectations. The walls, once bare, now display framed photos from my weekend trip to Seattle last month, the first vacation I've taken in years that wasn't spent visiting family or funding someone else's adventures. The notification ping from my phone draws my attention to the banking app. My savings account balance $8,217 glows on the screen. A modest sum to some, but to me, it represents freedom. Each deposit over these months has felt like reclaiming a piece of myself. Water's boiling. Calls Uncle Robert from the kitchen, his retired cop's voice still carrying the authority that stood firm beside me that fateful night. "Coming." I join him, stirring the pasta while he chops vegetables for the sauce. Sunday dinners have become our tradition, sometimes at his place, sometimes here, occasionally at Grandma Dorothy's. Tonight, Aunt Elaine will join us, bringing her famous apple cobbler. "Your mother called me yesterday," he mentions, carefully keeping his tone neutral. I nod, no longer feeling that familiar spike of anxiety. They're trying. I'll give them that. The tentative lunch I had with my parents last week marked our 3rd meeting since I'd established boundaries. No money discussed, no unexpected requests, just conversation that occasionally felt genuine. And Maddie? I smile slightly, working full-time at the coffee shop now. Her Instagram shows fewer designer outfits, more honest moments. I don't mention the awkward text she sent, asking if we could talk soon. That bridge needs more time. The doorbell interrupts us. Grandma Dorothy enters, kissing my cheek before handing me a small potted plant. "For your collection," she says, nodding toward the growing array of greenery by my window, another new hobby I've discovered. Later, as we gather around my modest dining table, a secondhand find, I refinished myself in my cooking class, instructor's workshop. I look at these people who supported me when standing alone felt impossible. "I wanted to tell you all something," I say, refilling Aunt Elaine's water glass. "Dad called yesterday about the harvest party planning. They want me to help coordinate." 3 concerned faces turn to me. I told him I'd be happy to attend as a guest, but my wallet and my time are my own now. The words come easily, without the trembling uncertainty that once would have accompanied them. Uncle Robert raises his glass. "To boundaries. To growth," adds Grandma Dorothy. "To knowing your worth," Aunt Elaine concludes. The next morning, driving to work in my new-to-me Subaru, practical, reliable, within my budget, I catch myself smiling at the road ahead. The promotion I received last month came with a small office, my name on the door, a a daily reminder of what happens when I focus my energy on my own life, instead of rescuing others. I adjust the rearview mirror and see a woman with clear eyes and relaxed shoulders. The price of generosity should never be your self-worth, a lesson that cost me $50,000 but saved my life. Some things I've learned are beyond calculation,